Hi everyone, I just wanted to quickly go over some of the things that are included in the Just Right Junior, which is the new sensory modulation curriculum for emerging learners. So this is for students who are in preschool or perhaps have some developmental delays that are having difficulty understanding the concepts for the K through 5 curriculum, and perhaps we just need to take a step back and really learn some of the FAR senses and the speeds and some of the language that you might use to be able to self-advocate for yourself. So in the Just Right Junior, we are trying to give them the information and the wording and the terminology for them to be able to self-advocate for themselves and to be able to tell somebody if they feel fast or slow or just right, trying to keep it as simple as possible, but also truly understanding their own sensory needs and really fine-tuning that information about the 5 FAR senses. So what we want to do is be able to give them some simple language so that they can advocate for themselves, so that they can explain what is going on inside their body and what they might need and start to become more independent with those sensory skills. The Just Right Junior was created so that it can be really used anywhere. It can be taught by teachers or therapists to an entire classroom. It can be taught in small group lessons. It can be done at home. It can even be done in an OTPT speech or mental health setting, so that really all students can have access to that. There are 13 lessons in the Just Right Junior curriculum. The first 3 lessons are separated by the body speed. So we first talk about fast, then we talk about slow, and then we talk about just right. And there's lots of fun activities, hands-on, musical types of activities that really get them understanding what those speeds are like. Then the next 5 lessons are each about each one of the 5 FAR senses. So hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching, the 5 FAR senses. And we talk inside those lessons about what those FAR senses are, but then also how do they make us feel? How do certain things make us feel? Does it make us feel fast? Does it make us feel slow? Or does it make us feel just right? And there's lots of games, crafts, and activities that help them understand that. In the last 5 lessons of the 13 lessons in the Just Right Junior, we're really focusing on using tools and understanding what a toolbox is and how those tools can help us make us feel differently. There's no right or wrong answer as far as how certain things make us feel, but sometimes we do know that we have to use tools to help us go faster, or use tools to help us slow down, or to have tools that help us feel just right. So there's lots and lots of fun activities in these next 5 lessons that really focus on the tools after they've understood the speeds and the 5 FAR senses. Inside the Just Right Junior, we have a variety of different tools. It's all included. You don't have to pay for any extra for any of these things. The Google Slides presentation has over 220 slides in it, and you have access to that, which I'll show you in a second. And you can put that up on a Promethean board. You can access it from a phone, an iPad, a Chromebook, wherever, and you can still utilize that whether you're in a whole group or a small group or an individual session. There's over 200 optional printables that are like handouts, and you definitely don't have to use all of them. There's lots of different options. I was just saying to someone the other day that, you know, when Gwen Wild and I wrote the K through 5 curriculum, K through 5 is 6 grades. That's a big age group, right? And when I decided to write the emerging learners version, there is such a wide variety of skills and concept understanding in the ages between 3 and 5 years old. A 3-year-old and 5-year-olds can be completely different kinds of people, not to mention our students who might be in self-contained classrooms or having difficulty understanding those concepts. So really, there's lots of different options here. They have all different types of skills. If they're not quite ready to use scissors, or they are not fully able to cut with scissors, you can use some of those printables or not. There's coloring activities, there's puzzle activities, there's matching activities. I've even made it so that some of those worksheets are actually in the Google Sheets so that you can make it an interactive activity instead of printing out the handouts and having them do it that way. So really, it's accessible to all different types of students and different types of settings. One of the most exciting features that I am very, very proud of is that I wrote 13 songs, and each one of the 13 lessons has their own song that's specific to the concept in that song. And what I did is I actually created a video with the song embedded into it so that you can watch each one of those songs, watch and listen to them on YouTube. So again, you can easily access it from any device. You can just play the music. You can have students watching it, and the lyrics are actually on the video. Now, I do not expect 3 to 5 year olds or children with developmental disabilities to be able to read all of those lyrics, but you as the adult will be able to read the words along with looking at some of the movements and activities that are on there. Most importantly, the songs have suggestions for what physical activities they can actually do to dance along with the lyrics, and all of that is actually in the book, in the curriculum. The other really cool part is the anywhere access. So yes, all of the links are inside the PDF of version of the book, or if you have the hard copy, you can obviously access those. However, I know what it's like to be a busy therapist and in lots of different settings, and so I want to be able to easily log into something and be able to access all of the resources, and that's exactly what I've done for you, and I'm just going to go ahead and show that to you. So on the OTKimWiggins website, what you do is you click on, you can just type in OTKimWiggins.com. And as you go into that, you will have an access code. The access code is located on the inside of the book, or I believe it's on the second page of the PDF. And it also should be in a follow-up email that you will receive after you purchase it. Once you put the access code in, you now have access to this page. This is a password protected page, and inside this page you have the link to the Google Slides. So you would just automatically click that and it would open up from anywhere. You also have access to the YouTube channel for the Just Right Junior. So you would click on that and it would bring you right to the YouTube channel specifically for Just Right Junior, where you can see all 13 songs. So you can play them throughout the day. You can play, say you're on lesson 3, but the kids really like lesson 1 song, or you want to reiterate something that you've already learned. You can play them at any time because you can just quickly access that link right from that website as long as you have your access code. So you can do it that way. Or what you can also do is you can do it lesson by lesson. So say you're working on lesson 1, Fast Like a Cheetah. The little music note right here actually brings you directly to that. Fast like a cheetah, zoom, zoom, run so fast. Movements that are located inside the book that you can do, but obviously you can do whatever movements you'd like. In addition to that, the handouts are also going to be there. So you can go ahead and click on the handouts link and it will open up as a PDF. And when it opens up as a PDF, you can decide to choose whichever one you want to print, whatever one you want to go ahead and make accessible to maybe a small group center, to the whole lesson. It doesn't usually take this long, so I'm not really sure why it's doing that, but I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. Lesson 1 really doesn't have a ton of handouts within it, but there is a coloring activity that we talk about. We do talk about cheetahs, but we also talk about other things that are fast, like a race car. So this is a coloring activity, and my recommendation would be to use the Learning Without Tears flip crayons, and then to be able to use one crayon and flip back and forth to color different sections of the car. But there's all different types of things that you can do. And my recommendation for the cheetah tails, obviously you can cut these out and then use this as one of the fine motor tasks is using tweezers or tongs to pick up small little black pom-poms or any color pom-pom and placing them on the dots. So you can use this handout for that. my plan, because I really, as an OT, work on cutting a lot more, is I have yellow construction paper, and I have them cut on the darkened line and create their own cheetah tail. And then you would hang that in the classroom and have a cheetah tail wall. So that's one example. Then you have all of the lessons, access to all of the handouts and the lessons and the songs that are all available for all 13 lessons. So when you get to that's one thing I wanted to mention. When you get to the website, you want to just make sure that you hover over the shop tab and then you click on the Just Right Junior. K through 5 also has they have a different access code, so that would be something if you purchase that curriculum. But if you did purchase the junior, you just click on top of that and then it gives you access to the password page, and that's where you put that in. Oops, sorry about that. I got out of the presentation. Let me get back there. Okay, so now the next thing I just wanted to quickly review with you is the songs. So like I said, each one of the songs is specifically made for each one of the concepts in the lessons, and they are so cute, super fun, very catchy. Sometimes I think they might be a little too wordy maybe for some 3-year-olds. They do not have to know all the words or sing all the words. They really are just listening and doing the movements, which is what you can focus on. Again, with the Google Slides presentation, I just want to quickly go there so that you can kind of see what that looks like. So this is the Google Slides presentation, and each one of them is hyperlinked so that you can actually go straight to that lesson. So say you're working on lesson 3, the first slide always gives you also hyperlinks that brings you right to that section if that's something that you're interested in, looking for something specific. So this is Bella the Bear. We're introducing Bella the Bear. Every single lesson has a list of additional books, children's books, that coincide with that concept. So there's tons of different options out there. I'm sure you guys can find tons more, but I just wanted to give you some recommendations because I have a lot of classrooms that are teaching the Just Right Junior, and they are teaching one lesson throughout an entire week. So they're doing all of the fine motor activities that I recommend, not just one. They're doing one a day. They're listening to the song every single day. They're reading a new children's book that goes along with that concept every single day. And then when they're ready, they move on to the next lesson. So it really can be spread out even over 2 weeks if you really needed it to be. Also, every single lesson has a mini book. A mini book is just a little extra explanation. So for example, if in Fast Like a Cheetah is being taught to 3-year-olds and they don't know what a cheetah is, the mini book is what is a cheetah, okay? So the mini book for this one is about bear hugs. Bear loves hugs. So it's just a couple of slides for what the bear does when he gets a bear hug, okay? The link to the actual specific song for that lesson is on its own slide in the Google Slides. So if you have this up on the Promethean board or smart board or whatever you have, and you're going through the slides along with the lesson, you easily just jump right into the music. You don't have to even go over to the website to be able to do that. You can just go ahead and click on this while it's in present mode or in slideshow, and it will automatically play right there for you. So let me just show you what that looks like. And you would go ahead and click on that, and then
clap your hands, 1, 2, 3. Feel the rhythm just like me. Clap so happy, clap so bright. Now your body feels just right. My body can feel just right when I move it day and night, up and down and all around. Happy feelings can be found. March your feet left.
So I just wanted to give you that example. And like I said, each one of those songs has specific movements. Then there's different activities in every single lesson. So depending on the lesson, there's going to be different slides that you might have to utilize. And just as an extra helpful thing, I do have the printed, like the screenshots of the printed handouts, so you know what you would want to do next. This is really just a reference for you to know. And in lesson 3, they get to make themselves just right badges. So they have now understood if they feel just right, they get to wear a badge. They have to do a teacher lesson where we're giving them how do you draw eyes, and so the big bear is for you to draw the eyes, and then they draw their eyes, and so on and so on and so on. So they have what a just right face might look like, and then they can color it, and then they can hole punch it and wear it or hang it from their cubbies. So yeah, every single lesson has the same format. Even in the sound section, there's actual sounds that play so that you can say, does this make me feel fast or just right? Also, there's 2 more things I want to quickly tell you about this. There are games in here. So the slides, when it's in slideshow mode, they are animated. So there's going to be certain games where you will play them. Let me just give you an example. So this is, should our bodies be slow right now, right? So should our bodies be slow when we're relaxing and watching TV? And someone can come up here and click yes. What about when we're running on the playground? Should our bodies be slow? No. And they can come up to the board and click on it and so on. So that's one of the games that they can play to really reiterate that concept. And then there is also some slides, like I said, that are coordinated. Oh, there's one. Coordinated with the handout. So if you don't want to print out the handouts, I know in my school district they have a copy limit, so if I'm not able to do that, or maybe my students aren't able to actually use scissors just yet, what this does, when you see this button, you're going to click on that, and it's actually going to bring you to a different Google Slides where you're going to go ahead and make a copy of that. And when you make a copy of it, you now are able to use these 3 slides as interactive slides. So you would go ahead and you would not put these in the slideshow mode. You would just leave them like this. It gives you that direction. And so for example, this one is, okay, is this boy feeling slow or fast? He would be fast. And they can come up to the board and run, right? This girl is feeling slow. This person is fast. This one is slow, and so on and so on. So they can do a drag and drop activity, and there's 3 lessons that have this activity to it. So if you say, okay, if I'm eating applesauce, applesauce is cold. It kind of makes me feel just right. I'm going to pick just right, like whatever their answer is going to be, okay? But at least this is now your own copy, so you're able to move them around. The other version is a view only, so you really can't move things around, and so that's why I did it that way. I explained your mini books and the extra books. So that's just what I just showed you. And then I just wanted to show you that I tried to make it as specific as possible with materials and preparation so that you really can make it as easy as possible to just jump into a lesson and not have to be like, oh, what am I supposed to prepare for before I get into that lesson? So I really tried to keep it as specific as possible. Then like I said, there's lyrics that go along with the songs, and the movements are also within that song. Also, the concept is always in here, so that there's always a concept section. There's always some sort of movement activity or game. Then there's always some sort of fine motor station, and then there's also additional bonus activities. So the bonus activities don't have like a full explanation of what they are, just little explanations, and you can choose to do those as extra things that you might want to do for additional lessons or other days of the week. I know as an OT, my biggest thing is hands-on activities are very, very important, especially with this population. And so that's the best way that I think that they can learn. And so there's lots of very visual, hands-on, sensory rich lessons, and including our crafts. So these are just some of the crafts that the kids will end up making. Just as a handful of them. Every lesson does have some sort of craft. Every lesson has some sort of motor activity. And so there's puzzles that were created, and there's recommendations for how to utilize them for a variety of different lessons, the movements that might go along with the songs. And then there's, after they even make the crafts, they actually can have some movements that go along with the crafts. So there's lots of different opportunities for OTs and PTs and speech therapists and mental health professionals to address social emotional learning and work on all of their own related service goals at the exact same time. There's also a carryover section. So every lesson has what we learned. And a lot of parents I know in the K through 5, a lot of teachers in the K through 5 curriculum actually asked, can we have like little blurbs to tell parents what they learned about this week or this lesson? And so that is available in the K through 5 password protected access section of the website. But in the junior, this is included right in the book, and you can copy and paste this. You can adapt it and make it whatever you want, add pictures or whatever too, but you can go ahead and just copy and paste and send it right home. And then the other really cool part, and I mentioned it a little bit, is that for the therapeutic focus. Now, I know, and I'm a huge advocate for collaboration and working together as a team. And so I find it very, very important, especially with this population, that the OTs, the PTs, the speech therapists, and the mental health professionals working on SEL really can be intertwined in every single lesson. So I wanted to make sure that if you were maybe pulling them out, maybe they learned the lesson in the classroom and then you as the therapist is pulling them out, you can focus on something a little more specific within that lesson. Or even if you're pushing into the classroom while the lesson is being taught, you can focus on some very specific things. And these are just suggestions. I know that there are endless opportunities for this, but I really just wanted to make sure that every single person on that team was included. So my key takeaways that I just wanted to review with you is repetition builds skills. So every single lesson does the same sort of format, and it really hones in on making sure that those kids are learning their skills. Also, this is a scaffolding process. Here's my cat, by the way. And the junior is a really great stepping stone to, after they complete the junior lessons, they can actually move on to the K through 5 curriculum as well. Now, it is labeled K through 5, but I actually think that the junior might be more appropriate for some of the kindergartners that I work with. So I personally am teaching the junior to my kindergartners. I even teach it to some of my 9-year-olds that are in my self-contained class for children with autism. So it really just depends. The ages are just a recommendation. Play is, I love being silly. I love being playful. Every single lesson is enriched with play and activities and hands-on learning. And I want it to be as accessible as possible for you, because I know I have 60 students on my caseload. I'm running from classroom to classroom, building to building. I need to have everything accessible, and I don't have a lot of time for planning. So I just wanted this to be as accessible for you so you can take the thinking out of it and you can just do the activities with your students. So it already has received so much feedback. We are so excited about this. People are using it. I have a 3-year-old classroom that's utilizing it. The kids are loving the songs. They're doing the crafts. They're really working on all those therapeutic skills while also learning the major concepts. At the very end of the lesson 13, everybody gets a Just Right Superstar certificate, which it just brightens every kid's day when they get one of those certificates. So it's been very, very, very exciting. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. But you can contact me also through my OTKimWiggins.com website, and I hope that you love it just as much as I do.